Welcome to the Daily Telegraph NRL podcast. And Dave and I, we're a bit flat this morning, aren't we?
Oh, Mickey. Morning, Read man.
How are you?
Hello, Brent.
Top of the morning
Why
to
are
you,
you so
boys.
turkey for?
Top of the morning to you.
Why?
Well, I did predict 30, so I was close.
Yes, we've got our resident in Queensland here, as he likes to remind us every day. But State of Origin, we'll have all the wash-up, the fallout, and a look into the rest of the NRL because there's some important games this weekend. But let's start with the big issue. Joseph Suaalii, Dave, send-off?
Yeah, I think it was a send-off, Mick. And as much as it pains me to see a game ruined after 7 minutes, you can't deny the fact that Joseph Suaalii collected Reece Walsh high. I thought the terminology it's been charged a reckless tackle. I'd probably put it in a careless category. But at the moment where Reece Walsh was lying on the ground half asleep, I thought that's the end of his night. Yeah, I think it was the right call.
Reedy?
Yeah, I think it was the right call. I thought he lost control. I mean, they've spoken about that last year or earlier this year? They talked about the rule change about shooting at the line, and you've got a responsibility to
Last year, I think it was, yeah.
Keep yourself under control.
Being
And I
control
thought he
exactly,
lost control. But I mean, he was both feet. He was basically airborne, and his contact in the head, and that's
Like
a
a
straight
torpedo,
send-off.
right? He just went straight in.
It was crazy.
It went-
And I understand you're trying to make an impact. I mean, I love Joe. Like, he's a great young kid, really nice young kid, great footballer. But I've got an issue with. I think this comes down. I actually think selecting him in the centres put almost too much pressure on him.
Hang on.
Okay, just saying.
What?
Well, I don't
Because
think.
that was played at centre, he comes in and...
Yeah. Well, he's played most of the year on the wing. He's played a little bit of centre. Yeah, I acknowledge that. He's played some centre. But he's played the majority of his time on the wing. And I just think...
But that's
that
not-
I don't see the correlation
That's
there.
not
Reedy.
a...
that's fine. I'm allowed to throw things out there. I'm just saying.
Like, that's not an uncharacteristic trait of a centre to put pressure on a fullback playing out the back.
I agree. I'm not saying,
So-
I'm not denying that.
Yeah,
I'm
I know,
saying the
so-
way he shot out and reckless and the way he lost
So he's
control.
doing his job as a centre,
I
which
understand that.
clearly
What I'm
knows
saying
his
is he hasn't
job.
played a lot of centre this
So
year.
you're talking about timing.
Well, timing, positional sense, defensive sense in the centres.
I just think he was a kid amped up on debut,
Probably.
wanting to make an impact, and he got the timing wrong, and that's the ramifications
Now,
of
the
it.
argument, guys, to a lot of people that are disappointed that it was a send-off, that Reece Walsh is dipping and slipping here, and he lowers his body height, of which is then helps the situation of not helps.
Doesn't matter.
Hinders
He's not that
the
low, though.
situation.
He's not
Doesn't
fallen. Like, he's not...
He's slipping. He's lowering his body.
He's lower, but...
But there was no margin for error there with
I know
Joe.
the
I mean,
rules, but fans out there questioning the send-off, saying that Reece has played a role in this high shot as well.
Do you agree with it? Do you believe that, or you just...
I can understand.
I don't believe that
I
at
can
all.
understand it, but the rules are the onus is on the defender.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that the easy option would have been to sin bin him, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I thought actually climb the bunker. They got it right. I thought that was a send-off every day of the week. As soon as you saw the replay,
There's a bit of criticism of Ash Klein getting the job as well. I thought he had a good... Yeah,
he had a
that was
good
a big
game.
call, right?
Yeah.
That's a massive call.
got it right.
And he showed
What was interesting-
plenty of gumption to make it.
Yeah.
What was interesting, the set prior, Queensland kicked downfield, and Reece Walsh is taken out late in a kicking motion. And he's in the air. It's a penalty every day of the week. And so at that point, I went, here we go. We're going to get a little bit of flexibility in state of origin.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could have much flexibility with the Suaalii high shot.
And for people to say, that ruined the game, or whatever the case
Well,
may
it did,
be,
Mick.
but it's not on the onus of the referee.
It's not the referee's fault, but it did ruin the game.
It
that's not a
it
here or
did,
there,
but that's
right?
just
I mean-
that's just what happened, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
That's life.
You can't have any criticism towards Ashley Klein for that. But what about? There's been some reaction to it. A couple of things. Whether New South Wales got their bench rotation wrong as a
This is your
result.
baby.
Well, I just think that people criticising the fact they didn't have a back on the bench. It would have made it wouldn't have made a difference because you're not coming. Firstly, in the 8th minute, you're not bringing it. You're not making an interchange, right? Because that's going to screw up the rest of your rotation. When you're already down to 12, you need to keep those interchanges up your sleeve.
The rotation was screwed up anyway. I mean, Jake Trbojevic spent 50 minutes on the
Yeah,
sideline.
I get that, right? But if you're going to burn an interchange after 8 minutes, right? 'Cause you got 12 players, you're still going to be short somewhere on the field. You might have had a little bit more speed, and you might be able to have counted a little bit to shift in, right, defensively. But I don't think even if Michael Maguire had it back on the bench, would he have made a change after 8 minutes?
But they got burnt. Like, really, when you look back at that game, the period that cost them, well, one of the major periods that cost them
that was the period
10
that
or
cost them.
15 minutes
that was
after he was
yeah.
sent off, because they didn't adjust.
Yeah.
Right? And I understand they moved Crichton over the other side and they changed things around.
Yeah.
But maybe if you have a back on the bench, then maybe you get him on there.
Yeah.
I don't think he does, though.
And maybe you don't need to rotate your forwards as much because...
You have to, though.
Well,
You'd have to. And you burn an interchange.
Well,
Boys, I come back
got
to...
burnt down there.
I flagged it on the show last week. Michael Maguire originally wanted Connor Watson on that bench. And this is the reason why.
Well, again, you would have Connor Watson defending the centre. He's not a centre.
Yeah, it's still not ideal.
He's capable.
Yeah, but he's not a centre.
But then you would have had really...
He's got speed.
But then you would have had...
We got
would have helped them.
Yeah, that's right. They
Connor
put Angus Crichton out in the back, out there.
Yeah, but I don't think, even still, if it was Connor Watson, he's not on in the 8th minute.
Well, if Burton's on the bench,
he would be.
Just say Burton was on the bench. You don't think they'd chuck Burton in there, flip Steve Crichton over early in that game,
No.
change sides, stick
Eventually,
Matt Burton
but
on the
I don't
left.
think it happens after 8 minutes. Might happen after 15 minutes or 20 minutes
Well,
to
when
try
they
and
were
drag it
getting
out.
burnt down there all the time.
Eventually, they would have made that adjustment. I just don't think with 12 men that you can burn an interchange so quickly. Because it's going to cost you at the back. It cost them anyway, right?
Exactly.
But I just don't think they would have. I just don't think having a back on the bench. It's not that you can't compare it to Queensland because Queensland lost the player and they were able to replace the player.
Yeah.
New South Wales will still strip for numbers at some point.
You know what I find me? I was saying to my wife this morning, I said, everything Billy touches at the moment just turns to gold.
Doesn't
Like
it?
everyone goes, why you got Selman Cobbo on the bench? Reece Walsh has gone after 8 minutes, Cobbo straight in the action. He's just in this golden period. Well, I think Billy's been in a golden period for about 20 years.
Yeah, your own luck sometimes,
You know?
right? When he was
just
playing. But
everything he does is just, he's got the Midas touch.
what about yesterday?
I just feel deflated. I've got to admit. I feel deflated for the 80,000 fans at that stadium last night. It's such a I don't know. I just feel flat. That I love State of Origin, and there's a lot of fans that don't. There's a lot of fans that think it just gets in the way of their club game. But for me, it is such the greatest advertising vehicle for the game over any other sport in the country. And as soon as Suaalii was sent off, you could just feel the air in the stadium fall flat. And look, I know there's a lot of debate in and around introducing rules that allow, in the Blues circumstance, to bring a player onto the game, maybe after 10 or 20 minutes, once Queensland have gained an advantage. And look, I personally don't think that's the way to go. I still think it's worth debate. But in this moment where it is the greatest advertising vehicle the game's got, I just feel flat. Honestly, we're at this point.
We'll perk you out.
There's an easy way to solve that, Dave. Solve that problem. Don't hit blokes in the head.
Yeah.
And you won't have to worry about going down to 12 men.
The people that are I know you threw it out there in a column that's online today.
I like
but
that.
No, it's not even a debate.
I like the Dave's throwing
It's not
it
even
out
a
there,
debate.
though. That's what
All
I'm
you
saying.
what will happen is you get...
Well, Michael Maguire said it's worth looking.
Yeah, but it's
at.
not.
Yeah, of course
Well,
he's
I
going to
can
say
only-
that. He just lost a game
It's
of
not
12
even
men.
worth looking at because you get a plotter to start in your side, get out and kill someone, get off the field, and then replace him with a gun who's your 18th man.
Yeah.
Done. Case
it's
closed.
unrealistic.
It's not under 10s where you might be able to replace a player. Anyone that's suggesting that is a dribbler.
He's calling Dave a dribbler.
No, Dave's done it. No, Dave's not.
He's just
backing
called you a dribbler, Dave.
Well, he's
Now
not,
he's even more deflated.
he's not the first. He's not.
But Dave doesn't agree with it.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Dave's not pushing it.
I don't think
he's throwing it out.
unrealistic.
He's throwing it out there because people were suggesting it
that's
post
right.
game,
Yeah.
right? And I think anyone that's suggesting it is a dribbler.
Yeah.
You?
Did Matt? I didn't suggest it.
No,
What a
no,
point of
but
me.
I'm saying...
No, I think it's just unrealistic. And you're spot on. It probably wouldn't happen, right? But you could. What if in a grand final, if they're playing against Reece Walsh again, and
Correct.
so someone just gets picked in the 17,
number-
and their sole role is to go out there and take off Reece Walsh's head. Now, it probably wouldn't happen, right? But
Of course it would happen.
no, it wouldn't.
It would happen.
It wouldn't
You don't think
happen.
they'd send someone not to...
You think a coach would
Not to-
instruct the player, go out there and kill Reece Walsh?
No. No one's going to run and elbow him in the head or anything like that, right? But you don't think
They'd belt them.
there would be... You'd cross that line?
Yeah.
Of course you would. I'm not saying anyone's going to run and intentionally elbow someone in the head.
You might
right?
flirt with the line.
You're not going to flirt. You're going to cross it. You're going to cross it.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Because you can. Because the risk v reward is just, you can just get replaced. It's just I don't like that at all. All right.
Yeah.
Origin game. Well, let's touch on Queensland, right?
Sorry, just really quick, Mick. I know it's your show.
It is your show.
Did we just touch on Jake Trbojevic in the minutes? Because you mentioned it.
Yeah.
He was off a long time.
Off a long
Came
time.
back on for the last 5.
I bailed Madge up in the sheds after the game. I said, listen,
I
Madge,
saw you pestering him. Yeah.
what's the go with what happened there with Jake? Yeah. And he said, look, at that period of the game, back second half, right? Largely second half off. He only came on for the last 4 minutes, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said we were chasing points, and Jake's greatest strength is his defence, holding the middle, and we needed to attack as much as we could. I had to get my best attacking players on the field, and ultimately that was his reason.
I'm not going to
whether it washes or not, I don't know.
I'm not going to be too critical of it. I think because of the fact that they're down by 12, your rotation goes out the window a little bit. So. Chasing points as well.
Yeah.
You know, and Spencer was having a good impact in shorts.
It's strange to be captain.
I know
it is.
So this is the argument.
Captain doesn't play
No, I
for
get you,
50
But I
minutes.
don't think that would have been the case.
Well, I'm sure it wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you're in a situation where your captain doesn't play for 50 minutes in a game.
I don't want to
where
be
you're down to 12 men. You probably need, as much as you need speed and creating points, you also need some inspiration out there and a leader. And your captain's sitting on the sidelines for 50 minutes.
Reed, man, I don't want to be disrespectful to Jake, right? Nicest bloke in the world, right? And an exceptional footballer. But we all know he was playing an interim captaincy role, right? Vise Yeo was the vice captain. And there was much debate. There was much surprise when Jake Trbojevic was named captain. And I don't... You know, an argument was put to me this morning by one of my mates that Paul Gallen would never have spent that long on the bench as captain of the Blues. Completely different. Completely different. Jake, again, a wonderful leader, but he's not... It's not James Tedesco sitting on the bench, a long-term captain, and I don't see it the same. I really don't. I think at some point Jake was going to be on the bench as captain.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't have a huge issue with it. I did find, speaking of coaches, Billy Slater coming down to the sideline. I've never seen that before. He left the coach's box, walked down beneath a press box, and it's about the 20-odd minute mark, and then...
It was when Hammer scored, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he goes down to personally deliver a message to Hamaso, talks to him, gives him a pat, and then goes back to the box.
Great sense of theatre, Billy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We all found that a bit strange when he ran past, because he ran past in front of the media box, basically.
It was like what coaches do with 2 minutes left in the game that they won. You know what I mean?
It's like what happens at the under-15Bs at the last
It does. I like it though. I like it though. I like it.
I didn't mind it.
You know, you want to get your message clear. Hamaso's obviously playing fullback. Billy's the greatest fullback. There
was an issue with the headsets.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Right. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
That's what I understand. That's what I was told.
Oh, okay. He did. How good was
Hammer? File on something.
How good was Hammer at fullback? He was unbelievable.
How good has he been this year? He's been so good this year.
It's really good when you're just carving up 12 players. Well, he looked good carving up 12 players. There's a lot of space out there, Reed.
Okay, fair enough.
Ready,
you can still make a tackle.
What changes the Queensland have to make?
That's a serious question.
All right, New South Wales, game 2. Give me your 1, 6, 7 for game 2.
Well, your 1's Dylan Edwards if he's fit, clearly. Your 6... I would leave Luai. I thought Luai was really quite good, right?
Yep.
Moses has got to be a 7.
Yep.
What was the other one?
That's it. We'll start there.
No.
We'll start there.
Can we talk about the centre position?
Can we start there?
Yes, let's start
Dave,
there.
can I have your 1, 6, 7, please?
Wow.
Yeah, look, I think if Dylan Edwards is ready to go, I think they've got absolutely nothing to lose in a must-win game to give Edwards his debut, and let's see how he goes. Jerome Luai was okay. He wasn't... He plays a lot of freestyle footy that I think sometimes can confuse his teammates. I think he does enough to stay there. I think Nicho Hines, well, it's going to come down to Mitch's performances now. And for Nicho, I thought his effort and his want and desire to go after the game was all there, right? So any question about him folding under pressure, I don't agree with. However, execution-wise, let him down.
Yeah.
His execution kicking game.
The kicking game was
wasn't there. And what do we know about Mitchell Moses' kicking game? It's his strength. So.
I think if Mitch gets through the next 2 weeks, Mitch is in.
And barring a shocker.
I've got this little feeling that Madge will... I don't know. I've just got this feeling Madge will go, hang on, we did a job with 12 men. I might stick with these boys.
I think, though, generally, yes. But I think if you asked him who he wanted to be fullback, it was Dylan Edwards. I think once Nathan Cleary was gone, if you asked him who would have been his next choice halfback, would have been Mitch Moses.
I think Mitch was in anyway. I think Mitch would have played 6 and Cleary 7 before the series. I think Mitch was in.
So I don't know. It's not like he's culling. I don't think there's going to be wholesale changes.
Hines and Moses.
I think Nicho's cooked. I don't think you can play him after that performance last night. I thought Jerome was decent. I thought Jerome was
really
at least
good,
half a threat.
Yeah.
I thought New South Wales kicking game was horrific.
I didn't realise how bad it was.
Why Zac Lomax was kicking so often, which obviously would have been a tactic. I found strange when, Zac Lomax was really good last night, but I'm not sure why he was kicking the ball so much.
It's intriguing for Cronulla's season how if Nicho does get the chop, how he responds, because we all know last year he struggled after.
And this is off the back of a poor performance.
I've already spoken to Sharks officials who have spoken to Nicho this morning, and Nicho's upbeat. Like he gets the the halfback of the Blues cops criticism, right? But again, like he defensively went after the game, never stepped coming at the game. Just his execution let him down.
He clearly had a sense of what was coming because he was one of the few players who didn't come out of the dressing room last night.
Yeah, the Blues were pretty good after the game last night.
I think Nicho was well aware that he'd obviously had a disappointing game and he was going to be under scrutiny.
And one of the other ones that didn't was Joseph Suaalii, who spoke this morning too. So
well, he was out. He just didn't. Nicho didn't even come out of the innocent.
I don't think I saw Cam McInnes either.
Yeah, I didn't see Cam McInnes either. No.
But I think obviously they go to Melbourne now and they need to win. I think you've got to pick Mitchell Moses.
And I think like the fullback position was intriguing, right? But Tedesco was okay. But if Dylan Edwards is fit, I don't think Tedesco did enough to stop him from getting that number one.
There's a couple about the back plays there that Teddy was trying to tip on.
Yeah,
and just fall to grass.
But he's on the right hand side and he missed a couple of tackles there. So if Dylan Edwards is fit, he comes in. If he's not fit, I think Tedesco remains there. Well, you don't think so?
Well, who's the other
Drink
options?
water.
The other question.
Got to kick Teddy down.
The other question is if they go for a bit more starch in the middle with a Mitch Barnett.
Mitch Barnett, Mitch Barnett.
With I like Hudson Young as a player, but is he bringing enough punch?
A bit unfair for him because of the way he's rolled.
This is why our entire discussion is unfair.
Yeah,
because the game plan went out the window.
Well, not necessarily.
I don't know if Lomax kicking was part of the game plan.
It would have had to have been because obviously they might have had concerns around Nicho's calf, whatever the case may be. Zac Lomax doesn't find himself in the middle of the field on the last tackle that often unless it's scripted. Do you know what I mean? I know that they look disjointed at times, but it happened. How many times did it happen? It happened a couple of times where you go, okay, well, this is obviously part of the plan.
Do you look at Napi Coruscant?
All right, let's say we've picked our 167. The other contentious spot at the moment will be centre. With Suaalii almost certainly not going to be there.
Yeah, he won't be there.
Newcastle officials hope Bradman Best might play next week. Yep. So he comes back into the mix.
This should not even be a discussion.
Who are you picking?
Latrell Mitchell should be straight in that team if he gets through the next 2 weeks. He should be there.
Why?
Because he's your best hope of going to Melbourne and winning.
I thought Bradman Best did more in Game 3 last year.
That game didn't matter.
That game didn't matter. Than Latrell has done in some time.
So I wrote this before Origin 1.
And at club level.
I wrote this before Origin 1. If you go to a Queenslander and you say to them, who scares you more, Bradman Best or Latrell Mitchell? With due respect to Bradman Best, who's a really good footballer,
Didn't you get in trouble for Bradman Best last year?
But if you go to a Queenslander, I'm sure if you said to Billy or any of those, the Queenslanders were stunned that Latrell wasn't there.
Yeah,
They were doing cartwheels.
Yeah. And do you know what would be even more scarier? What? If you're part of the Blues coaching staff.
Well,
because you don't know what he's going to bring.
I think you just got to go. I'm picking Latrell as well. If Bradman's not fit, because he has to play next week. If he doesn't play next week, you're not picking him.
Yep.
Where do you go, Dave? The options are...
The other option's Matt Burton.
Jesse Ramian, Matt Burton, Tony Staggs.
I probably wouldn't play Burton in the centres, to be honest, boys. But he is an option. He's got a good kick and gives another kicking option to them. The other name prior to Origin 1 was Jesse Ramian, but look, I'd have Bradman, then Latrell.
I hate giving New South Wales advice, but can I give you a bit of free advice? Pick Latrell. Madge.
I'm sure Madge is sitting there with his notebook. What other changes do you foresee? You mentioned Appy Coruscant. I would, and this is not a slide on Reece Robson whatsoever. I thought Reece Robson was really good last night. Reece Robson retains the number 9 position, but I've got Appy off the bench just to add a bit of change of pace out of 9.
Bit of creativity.
The Connor Watson theory.
You do burn a change with another hooker. Unless you just use Reece Robson as the middle as a 13.
Do you look at Matty Burton on the bench as well or not?
I don't know.
Actually, I don't mind that point now. I think about it, Mickey, about Appy off the bench, because then Reece can play that Harry Grant, Ben Hunt running 13.
And then I don't think you can have, if you're going to do that, I'm not sure you can have McInnes, Yeo, Robson.
I didn't think Yeo fired last night. I thought Yeo got in the way of a lot.
I remember watching the game after about a half hour and saying to someone, I didn't even notice Cam McInnes. But that's the art of Cam McInnes, right? You don't always notice him, but he gets through a mountain of work. But I can barely remember anything he did in that game.
Yeah. So Joey Johns held him up in high regard, said he was one of the Blues' best.
Yeah, well, he might have been, because that's the sort of football he gets around and does stuff you don't notice. Right?
I've got to admit, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're making change at 1, we're making change in the centres, we're making 1 change in the half.
Yep.
So that's 3.
Yeah.
And then potentially 1 or 2 bench spots. Mitch Barnett's an interesting one.
Here's a question for you. What's the threshold for when you say they got it completely wrong in Origin 1?
Well, but
5?
I think
5's the threshold.
No. Well, Tedesco...
If Freddie was doing this, we'd be having a go at Freddie for getting it wrong.
No, because Tedesco was a forced change.
Yeah.
Nicho Hines at 7.
Yep.
Mitch Moses wasn't available.
Okay.
So you're going to say they got that wrong? Suaalii, he's unavailable.
Yep.
So there's 3 changes that I'm not saying.
Okay.
Sounds like you're turning on your shade.
I don't think so. It's going to be at least 4.
They have to.
Changes,
they've got forced changes, right, to start with.
Yeah.
So, and that's there's still 2 games to get through.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
I think Moses has got to be a fitness permitting. You've got to bring Mitch in.
Yep. Edwards.
Yep. And as I said, I think you've got to pick Latrell. And I'm sure Madge isn't thinking that way, right? Because there's clearly some sort of disconnect between Latrell, Madge, the Blues. But, if I'm Latrell, you know what? If I'm even Latrell, I'll pick up the phone.
Yes,
2 weeks.
100%.
Call a Madge and say, mate.
Oh, not again. Seriously, how many times have you asked Latrell to pick up the phone to Madge?
A couple of times.
I'd be doing it today. I'd be texting today or whatever. Say, I'm ready.
I'm
if
there.
You need
I'm
me,
here.
I'm there. That's all you need to do. Just show it. Anyway.
Show me how much you want it.
There's a lot going on in the NRL this week. I think the games are pretty interesting considering, the Origin period, because you've got a lot of sides that are grouped in similar situation. You've got the Dragons, Tigers in terms of where they've been the last couple of years. You've got the Titans and South anchored towards the bottom of the ladder. You've got Brisbane and Cronulla, contenders. And then you've got Penrith and Manly, who people think could both go deep in this competition. And then Bulldogs Eels as well is a cracking game.
It's a good game, isn't it?
And then the one that's Melbourne, Newcastle's probably the lesser of all those games. But I'm really intrigued by lots of these games, which I'm looking forward to, Reedy.
Probably that Bulldogs Eels game, to be honest.
Who are you tipping?
I'm going to tip Parramatta.
Yeah.
Because I think with Mitch back, they're a completely different team. And more Mitch. We saw that last week. That with Mitch back in that side, that they were completely transformed. But the Dogs are a huge chance.
I think the Bulldogs are specials.
They've been great this year.
Specials.
Yep. And punters out there, gamble responsibly. They are outsiders in this game.
What makes them special, Dave?
And you tell me how the Bulldogs are outsiders in this game, given their performances of consistency in defence. The second best defensive team in the comp. Parramatta beat up a Cronulla side that are out of sorts. Braden Trindle hadn't played in 5 weeks.
They'll get a big crowd out there too,
Cronulla with one more set of possession would have beaten Parramatta last week, but Braden Hamlin-Uele came up with a drop. And yes, Mitchell Moses and Gutherson played a significant role in that performance. But they're going to Bulldogs are going more consistent level than Cronulla are in the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
They're specials, the Dogs.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think Parramatta,
Which
as I
game?
said.
Which game are you looking forward to, Dave?
Mate, there's a couple, like even the Warriors-Cowboys game.
Yeah.
That's a good game too.
Yeah.
Again, punters out there. Warriors are outsiders.
Yeah, I did miss that game.
Warriors are outsiders in this game.
But
Where is that game?
That's
Townsville.
That's another one. That's another.
What's doing?
That's another
do you mean?
group. That's
Cowboys, like, they've been a roller
Beat
coaster.
the Roosters
the Warriors
last
have been
week.
up and down too.
Yeah, the Warriors been all over the
Okay.
shop. They beat the Roosters last week with Jackson Purdue.
Hey, these are cracking games, Mick. Honestly, like,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Panthers, Manly.
It's a pretty cool round of competition. I did forget the Warriors Cowboys game, so my apologies for that. But aside from Knights Storm, the group like South and Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Like, that's got some intrigue too.
So there's your Latrell Mitchell game, right?
Latrell's got to come out and dominate.
So if Latrell is serious, that's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's got the next 2 weeks. He plays, it's another Queensland side next week as well. I can't remember who it is, but a couple of games against Queensland teams to showcase what he can do. And you're right, if Latrell's serious about playing Origin, he needs to come out and put on a show. And I reckon he will, because he's got that in him, Latrell. He can...
Well, you got to see it. South fans need to see it, let alone New South Wales.
yeah.
That's right,
South
100%.
fans are desperate for it, right? And then
The Titans have been
Friday,
good though, late.
Yeah,
They've been better.
you love Des. Friday night, Dragons, Tigers as
Good
well.
game, good game.
You know, with the Tigers off the back of the
the thing
bye.
with the Dragons is I have to see a back-to-back performance.
Yeah.
Right? I really enjoyed their win over Penrith last week. However, it came off of an absolute annihilation the week before by the Bulldogs.
So erratic.
So down in Wollongong against the Tigers team that the Dragons should be beating. I think the Red V get away with this one.
Benji's nice and refreshed too after his break.
Look, it
Dan.
should be.
But like they're in the midst of 8-game losing streak up against the Dragon side, who are won as many more games than they did last year
And
already.
there's a lot of disruption going to that club, Nick,
Well,
with their playing roster.
Let's touch on that. You want to get into that at the moment now with the Tigers and their roster? Stefano, Yutukumanu.
Yep. This is a big week for them because I think there's some meetings going on this week with players as well and player managers.
Talk us through the Stefano situation.
So they put an offer to him, 5 years, $4 million for next year and beyond. He's got those clauses in his deal where he's likely to be a free agent at the end of this year. Yeah. And my gut feeling is he won't take that deal. I think they'll either have to significantly upgrade it or he'll go to market, because I think you can get that on the open market. And you know, we've all heard the same thing about Stefano. He wants to go to a club where he can contend. He can fight for a premiership. So if you're the West Tigers and you want to keep him, you've got to make it almost impossible offer him so much money. It's almost impossible for him to leave. And I don't think that's enough money to make it impossible.
It's a good deal.
Great deal. I'm not saying 5 years, $4 million isn't a good deal.
But it's not blow yourself.
It's not. Wow, I can't say no to that, because if he goes in the open market, which I think we all expect him to go in the open market, because he won't play 2 more Origin games this year and they won't make the final. So he'll be a free agent come November 1. He'll get offered a lot more, not a lot more, but he'll get offered more than that at clubs that are contenders.
Read, Ben, and I agree with everything you just said. But can you come with me?
Yeah, I'll come with you on the journey, Dave. Where we're going?
On a point I made on 360, Braith got a little bit antsy about it.
That's unlike
and I said that...
I
he likes firing up, Braith.
Yeah,
good man.
I love him,
especially at you.
Yeah.
So, would you not agree that there would be a possibility that Stefano actually takes less from a more successful club
potentially
to leave? And
yes.
I firmly believe that.
I think he craves...
I know you're saying if the Tigers come up with a massive offer, they're a chance. You know, they have to go over and above. Well, I think a club can pay less. And
I think Reedy means if the Tigers came in at $1 million a year, you know, and then he goes, well, I really need to sit.
I need to take this.
Sure.
I might only get, not only.
So we're sitting at around 800 at the moment?
Yeah.
So if a club comes at, a successful club comes in at 750, I think they're a chance.
Well, I think a massive chance.
But I think that's what Reedy's saying, is that the Tigers would have to get to $1 million and that offer would have to be at 750, and he goes, well,
blow him out of the water.
You know, and you don't think they've done that.
No. Well, they haven't. They haven't, because he could go to open market now and get that money elsewhere at big clubs. You know, you look at the clubs that are circling him. We've all heard the rumours. Obviously, Penrith were in the mix at one point. You know, Melbourne are really keen on Stefano. The Dogs are on the up, and I'd imagine the Dogs would have a look at him.
The Bunnies, I'm hearing.
the Bunnies, they're struggling a bit, but they're a big club, so...
Wayne has that pulling power.
Yeah, so let's watch this space. West Tigers fans.
Yes.
All right. Questions. This one's for me. Hey, Scott. Scott from Scott. Hey, Mick, Raiders looking good on the ladder currently. What do you think?
Do you have them for the spoon?
No, I did have him for the spoon. I did not have him for the spoon.
Are you sure?
You sound like Flano. No, I didn't have him for the spoon.
What does Flano say, Mick?
Flano keeps telling me I had the Dragons for the spoon.
Did you?
No, I had
the
Tigers for the spoon. No, I
think you did.
I did not.
I think I had the Dragons.
I said to Flano, and I've said this again on here. I said, Flano, you've got the worst roster in the NRL.
Wow.
But you won't come last.
Cop that, Dragons.
So that was...
Cop that every player at the Dragons.
But
Cop that, Ben Hunt.
Scott. No, mate, Scott. Humble pie here, massively. I said the Raiders look like a bottom four side. And they
are a good football
outstanding.
team. How good is he?
Ricky's
I love
coaching.
Ethan Strange.
Ricky's coaching the best he's coached.
Would you pick him for Melbourne? State of Origin too.
Oh, it's a big
not
call.
yet. Not yet. Don't destroy the Canberra season. But Ricky's been outstanding. Like Scott, I apologise.
And they're building really.
I've got that one really
nicely.
wrong.
Yep.
Picked up a few young players as well for next year. They're going good.
Yep.
Doing good, Rick, your man, Sticky. Davo?
Yeah, mate.
Can you send an apology to him? Thanks.
Yep.
Dave.
He's ringing now.
Muckles wants to know.
Muckles.
The Dragons rest their Origin players. Is it worth going to freeze in Wollongong from Sydney?
I've already contacted Dragons officials, Muckles. I did my best for you. I didn't get a reply at this point in time. My mail prior to Origin was that that Ben Hunt and Lomax would attempt to play, and it was just dependent on how heavy Jaden Sewer's workload was.
He was good, Jaden Sewer.
He took full advantage early. Ben Hunt didn't do too much yesterday, right?
It's
Scored a few tries.
You'll struggle to find a poor Queenslander when you're playing 12 players.
Can I just say, Muckles, if you're a true, I assume you're a Dragons fan. If you're a true Dragons fan, get to the game, son. You've got to support your team. Come rain, hail, shine, or freezing conditions.
All right. Snoogie. Will Penrith show interest in Blaze Talangi, Reedy?
Well, I think they should, and they've got a little bit of cash to spend. Obviously, there's a Taylor May issue going on, and Blaze is a good young player, so I think they're mad if they don't show interest in Blaze Talangi.
Nice.
What do you reckon?
Right. Well, I think everyone should be showing interest in Blaze.
Good player, isn't he?
Richard, what is the ideal Origin eligibility criteria? Is it place of birth, first senior game, or first game?
Place of birth, first senior game.
Can I give you my idea on this? And I've pitched this before. So I don't mind the current eligibility rules, but place of birth should give you, it should be some sort of caveat around place of birth. So, for example, Luke Keary, who's deemed under the eligibility rules to be a New South Welshman, born in Queensland, grew up supporting Queensland, because of his birthplace, he should be eligible for Queensland.
He should be able to have a choice.
He should have a choice, exactly.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I'm okay with that.
That's a good rule change, isn't it?
But not a choice at 22.
No, make it when you're 18 or something.
Yeah, when you sign your first contract
18.
or whatever the case may be.
When you reach adult age,
you know, because I don't want players going, I'm going to play for New South Wales because I can't make Queensland.
Yes.
Right? But when you sign your first contract, if you're eligible for New South Wales...
No, I think 18, Mick. Right. When you're 18.
All right.
You've got to make a definitive call.
Some of them are playing Origin by then. Daniel wants to know... So first contract.
They're not old one. You can't even play in the NRL until you're 18.
Suaalii played.
Yeah, exemption. Thank you.
First contract.
I what's an age. He's a Storm man.
Daniel loves the Storm, right? And you're our Storm correspondent.
He does love the Storm, Daniel.
The Storm recently released Aaron Penne from his contract. They're still lacking a power middle forward. Do you think they have a genuine crack at Stefano?
I think they've got a genuine interest in Stefano. It depends where the price gets to and whether Stefano's keen to move to Melbourne, but there's an interest there, there's no doubt.
Does the other thing depend on Nelson? You wouldn't have...
You're going to bring that issue up.
Well, I don't think
Christian Welsh.
I don't think you have Nelson and Stefano in the same team.
Okay.
What about a swap, Nelson for Stefano?
Ooh, intriguing.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah, it's not bad, Mick.
That's Tigers' areas.
That's not bad.
Anyway. Peter Ferguson, he always sends us funny ones.
Can I say Nelson's been very disappointing this year, hasn't he?
Hasn't he? What?
He has.
Last couple of years, really.
Where is
okay.
Yeah, he's named on the bench against
Right.
the Knights.
Yeah.
Reedy or Dave.
Yeah.
So you guys are basically my last resort. But how do I get pasta sauce stains out of my clothes?
Oh, yeah.
None of the store-bought
I've been
stain
here before.
removers or old wives' towels work. So your combined wealth of knowledge is my only hope. Dave's all across it.
Yeah, no, I've been here before, Pete, and I feel your pain. It's a long road back, Pete. I'm assuming it's a Napolitana sauce. It's red, and it's not a carbonara or pesto. And you've got to go down the path of a scrubbing brush, unfortunately.
Sard Wonder Soap.
Sard with Sard. He's
Sard
spot
Wonder
on.
Soap.
Here we go.
But you've got to go early. You've got to get it early. If he's already washed the clothes and re-worn them,
so spot on.
you've got to get it early.
Send us a photo,
Pete,
Pete.
Yeah.
Pete, you can't go down the blues path and wait 25 minutes to cover your Riccio. You've got to get onto it straight away, right? Don't muck around.
But
Get the shirt
Give it
off.
a good scrub,
Yeah.
Sard Wonder Soap, soak it for a bit.
Yep.
Kylie does that for me. I've got no idea.
We do lots of soaking at the moment of clothes in our household.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Any pasta for dinner tonight, boys? Dave, what's on the menu? The Riccio household.
What's on the... So we've got a buy-in footy this weekend, kids footy, junior footy, under 15s, South Carrying Bar. We have a buy, so we're going out for pizza.
Oh, as a team.
Yeah, it's a bonding session.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
the team, I did that a little while ago with my soccer team.
Yeah.
I took them out for wings at Warburgers. Or you can eat wings, 20 cent a wing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this one's all you can eat pizza.
Yeah, good
and the
stuff.
boys are already talking up who's going to eat the most.
How
course.
good. Those were the days. What about you,
I'm
Reedy?
thinking it might be seafood night tonight, the Reed household.
Yeah.
So a bit of salmon, no air fry salmon. On the barbie, I cook my salmon with a bit. I like to cook it in a bit of chili oil, give it a bit of heat. Then I crumb my own calamari and
You crumb your calamari?
yeah, of course. I buy a calamari tube, slice it up,
Yeah.
crumb it. Yeah,
You ever caught calamari?
never.
By accident.
Oh, it's hard work.
And then the wife
And
likes.
then they spit the purple ink out once you catch it.
Well, now it don't. It's not so appetising now. And the wife likes a bit of whiting fillets, crumbed. But you know what she loves with her seafood? Can I
Tell
tell
us,
you?
yes. I'm sure everyone
This is
cares.
my wife. So whenever I get seafood, the first thing she asks me is, "Did you buy pasta salad?" She's got to have pasta salad with the seafood
And how often do you forget?
every time. And she's filthy. I've got to go back down the shops to get
Well,
pasta
can you
salad.
remember the pasta salad today?
Probably not. No. I'm addled a
We're
bit.
having
What
pork
about you?
ribs tonight.
Oh, well played.
Can you tell them the story about the
Because
pork
the
ribs?
butcher, our local butcher, for some reason, was selling pork ribs for $15 a kilo.
Wow.
So, but we're not having 4 racks tonight, but there was 4 racks for like less than $50.
That's good.
Or how good is that?
And you got
So-
the homemade.
Well, my Clara was like, I was geeing up Reedy to go get some ribs, but he lives too far away. But my wife's done the marinated it last night.
Makes your own marinade.
She makes it, yeah.
You're going to give me that recipe, right?
I've sent it to you.
Oh, you have? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Away we go.
So I love pork ribs.
So it's been
not
basting for 24 hours.
Yeah, she did it last night,
This will be
Wow.
and
amazing.
then we're going to
This will be
smash up
amazing.
some ribs tonight.
And what's
so
the cooking method there? Your alfoil on?
You're asking the wrong person. I'll be doing the dishes.
Have you had a dishwasher?
Yeah, but you still got it. And then sometimes the fork gets stuck in.
You know what? Can I just quickly
Not doing the
digress?
dishes is
No,
what-
seriously. Why rinse your dishes off if you got a dishwasher? That's the purpose of the dishwasher.
Well, it depends
Well,
on how
there's
long
not,
they sit there
there's not a
for.
little dude in the dishwasher just scrubbing. There's some
That's
stuff
what
on the
the
plate.
dishwasher does.
There's some stuff on the plates that doesn't
And
come off.
sometimes, like I know, because you say you put your dishwasher on every day, right?
Yeah.
You got 4 adults.
Well, no, mate, I wouldn't call my 16-year-old anything remotely close to an adult. He's
Do you know what I
he's
mean?
a buffoon.
So we've only got the 2 of us and the little one. So
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
we don't use it. So you need to. Otherwise,
Oh, okay, yeah, it sticks there for a while. Yeah,
So
okay.
you with
I'll
me?
give you that, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm really looking forward to this weekend's round of footy. I think there's heaps of intriguing matchups. Join us next week where we dissect some more Origin and look to the road ahead for the NRL.